Hi guys, so I'm gonna read the Submariner story, or the Namor story in Marvel Mystery Comics number 12, or The Submariner by Bill Everett. Due to a sudden change of the Submariner's heart, Luther Robinson, Lynn Harris, and Luther's first mate Mickey are permitted to escape from Namor's ice castle in their seaplane. They have been held prisoners since Namor sunk Luther's super yacht, which Luthor had sailed to the Antarctic on an expedition purported to bring about the extermination of Namor and his race of submariners. And now in the castle, Namor's mother talks with him. "Namor, you were a fool to let that girl get away. She would have made a good mate for you. But mother, she would have made a good wife, yes. But you seem to forget that she is an American and a thoroughbred, while only 3/4 of my blood are that of a white man." Yes, so again, this is in the 1940s, so like there's different racial stuff. It was very different back then. But also, you forget the Americans are enemies. Prince Namor, Highness, excuse me, please. Honored Prince, our first line scouts report that the plane, which the three Americans escaped, has been forced down about 15 kilometers from number 203 lookout. Our men await instructions. Good, here's your chance, Namor. You can recapture the girl and bring her back here. Maybe you're right, Mother. I'll try it anyway. 30 minutes later, Namor assembles his private grenadier squadron. We'll leave in squad formation, then flank off of the outpost. In short order, the flight is in progress. The artificial steam-propelled aerial submarines, speeding through the water, then cleaving the surface and soaring into the air. An hour later, Namor's amphibian hovers over a dark blemish in the cold Antarctic water, oil spreading from the felled seaplane. With a great soft hiss, the skids of the aerial subs smack the waves and glide to a stop. A moment later, Namor and his men dive beneath the surface, searching for the victims of the crash. Righting the plane while still underwater, Namor examines the cockpit. No one here, perhaps they. Finding it empty, he climbs onto a nearby ice floe. But no, they couldn't have escaped. There is nothing but ice and water for hundreds of miles around here. Hello? What's this? One of our blankets and a man's handkerchief. They must have slipped off the edge of the floe and drowned, and were carried away by the current. Well, we might as well get back to the castle. Flying low, speeding homeward. Fulma, look! A white man's submarine. But what's it doing in these waters? I know not, honored sir. Well, we'll soon find out. Dive plane, Fulma! And the alien undersea craft commences to submerge. As it sinks, Namor's amphibian crashes through after it, and the young prince leaps from a window to streak through the water towards the submarine's keel. This little minnow won't be hard to handle. Ugh, heavier than I thought. Namor pits his mighty strength against the weight of the sub's iron hull, pushing it towards the surface. As the submersive lurches and keels over, panic breaks out among the crew. Luther and Lynn are caught in the tide of the terrified Nazi sailors. Suddenly, the commander's voice rings out above the shouting. Stop the motors! Then the sub boils up through the waves. Good. Now to let them have a look at me. Namor steps in front of the periscope, and below the commander sees. Namor's men get to work quickly, smashing open the hatches. Then they pour through, blasting the crew with small but powerful steam guns. In no time at all, the crew is overpowered, and Namor seizes Lynn. Thought I'd find you here. You! Here, Fulma, take her to the plane. I want to speak to the commander for a moment. What's the meaning of this outrage? Okay, so they're Germans. Listen, Adolf, and don't get excited. I don't want your submarine, your crew, or any part of either. I only want the girl, and now I've got her, I'll leave you alone. Okay, so did he speak like... Okay. Yeah, I didn't know he was a German. So, a few minutes later, with his lieutenant and his prisoner, the submariner starts home. Where are you taking me? Why didn't you leave me with Luther? Those Nazis were taking us back to civilization. What do you want with me? You'll soon see, my fair-haired beauty. As Namor circles overhead, a huge gray battleship suddenly looms up on the horizon. Ship ahead, sir. Dead ahead. It's a Britisher. Man the torpedoes. On the ship, periscope, sir. Wait, is that a... Okay, so that's a British ship. Periscope, sir, in 3 planes. All hands out to battle stations, submarine. And in Namor's plane, uh-oh, this is good. Now we'll see a real battle. No sooner does Namor speak than the destroyer cuts loose with his forward guns, and a shell screams out at the Nazi submarine. Namor's plane slips down through the shell-split air as the submarine loses a well-aimed torpedo. The sub's crew mans the deck gun as the torpedo hits the destroyer. Bam! The destroyer begins to roll over, and on the port deck, anti-aircraft guns point their muzzles skyward. Get those planes! They must be the U-boat's convoy! Good grief, they're shooting at us. Think we're Nazis too. Well, we'll show them. Namor's planes dive on the British destroyer. As the destroyer's guns make a direct hit on the submarine, great clouds of scalding steam spurt from the noses of Namor's amphibians. They can't do that to the Submariner. And both the destroyer and the U-boat start for Davy Jones' locker. Anti-aircraft guns still firing, the destroyer dips her beams as one of Namor's planes bursts into flames. It's kind of surprising. A lot of these Namor stories have, like, a lot of battle scenes, like, these big, like, naval battles. I find it's not, like, the later in the 1960s, those Namor stories, like, they don't have any of that. And in the sinking ship's wireless shack, come on, Carter, let's go! Just a second, I've contacted a cruiser. Another of his aerial submarines down, Namor turns alone and heads back to his ice castle as the British rescue cruiser approaches. High time we got out of here. Fools and their stupid wars. What a pity all these men have to suffer and die because of the greed of dictatorial rulers. But it was ever so. There will always be war, I suppose. Yes, and you're a fine one to talk. What about all the men on Luthor's yacht that you killed? And what about Luthor? You've killed him too. At least you're responsible for his death. You could have brought him with me. Be quiet, little fool. If he hadn't been so stupid to pursue me from America, he'd be alive and well this minute. His death is no one's fault but his own. While Namor speeds through the air, boats from the cruiser pick up the destroyer's survivors, and a handful of Germans who escaped the sub. Why, you heartless! And what do you propose to do with me? You, my dear, are to be my wife. What? Oh, you mean, oh... No, you can't do that. Why, I couldn't even live in this climate. I'd freeze to death in a week. Take me home to America, please, please. Fulma, take the wheel. I want to talk to this young lady. Listen, my child. It is my mother's wish that I take you for my mate, and no one disobeys my mother, the princess. You'll be treated by our doctors and scientists until you have reached a state where neither cold nor heat will affect you, and an operation will permit you to breathe underwater. You will be in fact a human submariner, the first in the world. But in the meantime, Fulma, who is a doctor in his own right, will give you something to numb the cold for the next few hours. 10 minutes later, the aerial sub settles down on the water outside the castle. The occupants prepare to swim ashore. There, you see, my friend, it is not so cold now, is it? No, but I feel sort of numb, like I've been etherized. Namor leads his way to the castle. That'll wear off in a little time. Meanwhile, I'll show you your new home. Greetings, Prince. Lynn Harris, meet my mother, the Princess, and my cousin Dorma. They will look after you and prepare you for the operation. They both speak English, so you'll have no trouble understanding them. Sometime later. Greetings, honorable doctors. Is everything set? We are ready. Good, bring in the American girl in. Guards, strap her to the table. It will be painless, young lady. Do not be afraid. We shall use an anesthetic. During the ensuing hours, a little more other doctor. More cups, nurse. Steady now. Done. She will be able to breathe underwater now. Next, we'll prepare her for immunity to weather equipment. Ready, gentlemen? Lynn's unconscious body is placed erect in a weird machine. Careful, Doctor. Amid a blinding flash of light, she is frozen in a solid block of ice. But wait, the door suddenly bursts open. It is Luthor. So, didn't take me long to find you, you water rats. Freeze my girl, will you? We'll see if you can freeze this. Bang. In the explosion, the ice block splits. Lynn! Dirty snakes. Thought they'd done away with me. But they didn't figure out I escaped from the submarine and be picked up by the rescue cruiser. Gotta get back to the longboat. Hurry, men! Got to get back to the ship before the whole tribe takes out after us. We're ready, sir. A few moments later, the Americans are safely on board, and the British warship steams up over the horizon. Back in the operating room. Oh, a hand grenade! So they took us by surprise and got away again. What will happen to Luthor and Lynn now, and what will the Submariner do in the next issue of Marvel Comics? So that's the end of this issue, or this comic. I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you could like, comment, or subscribe, that'd be appreciated. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys later.